Okay, sorry about that. Hi everyone, it's Ashley. Making this video on my phone because I've made this video. This will be my fourth time making this video tonight because I've made it twice on my laptop and it would not upload, and then I tried to do it again on my cell phone a few minutes ago, but it didn't come out right. So hopefully this one will. So this will not be a long video because I actually had two that were great, and now these are not as great as with the other ones. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the id, the ego, and the superego according to Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud thought that there were three aspects of our personalities: the id, the ego, and the superego. So he thought, first of all, we'll talk about the id. He thought that we were born with that part of our personalities. It's the only part of our personalities that we're born with, and it's all about self. So the id is very emotional and irrational. When we think about the id, we think about the pleasure principle. It's all about what I want, when I want it, how I want it. Doesn't matter anything about anybody else. Doesn't care about anybody else. So the ego is, when you think of the ego, think of a child. Think of someone who's selfish, who does not have any regard for others. And who just wants immediate gratification, does not like delayed gratification at all, and someone who is just self-absorbed. When we think about the id, it's a primitive mind. It's the mind that we're born with. And so think about a baby, a newborn baby. It's always crying. It doesn't care what time of night it is. It doesn't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. If it's hungry, it's going to cry. If its diaper needs to be changed, it's going to cry. If it needs attention or affection, it's going to cry. It doesn't care that mom and dad are sleeping and they have to go to work in the morning or go to school or whatever the situation may be. So then we move on to the ego. The ego is how we are most of the time. It's our reality. It's the reality principle. It's very rational. It is always balancing the id and the superego, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But the ego is just our rational part of our mind, and let me make sure I'm not leaving anything out on here. We talk about the term ego strength, and that term refers to how well the ego copes with the conflicts between the id and the superego. So again, the ego is very rational, extremely rational, and it can be seen as the boring part of our personality. It's just how we are on a regular basis. Nothing too much going on there. So then we move on to the superego, and the superego is the last part of our personalities to develop. The superego is all about our moral compass. It's about distinguishing between what's right and what's wrong, according to society or what our parents instilled in us. The superego is always striving for perfection. There are two components, two subsystems of the superego. You have the ego ideal and you have the conscience. So the ego ideal is all about what we see as right according to what our parents or what society tells us. And then the conscience is about what we think our parents or society would disapprove of. So the superego it has the ability to make you give you that feeling of anxiety or feeling guilty about something. It has the ability to again, it's about morals, so it's about what's right and what's wrong, and it makes you think twice about things. Again, always striving for perfection. So as an example, if you see a guy go to a bank that you're in, and he's in front of you, he cashes a check for $500, puts it in his wallet, goes out into the parking lot, he drops his wallet, doesn't realize it, he leaves. Okay, so what do? Are you going to go into the bank and let the teller know that the guy who was literally just in the bank 3 minutes ago dropped his wallet, $500 cash in his wallet? Or are you going to take the wallet and the cash and go on about your way. The superego would step in and say, now hold up. Now you know your mom would not approve of you doing that, especially when you know that there's a great chance that this guy can be found because he was just in the bank 3 minutes ago. So the teller probably can go back and see who he is and get the money back to him. So, you know, if you do go and take the wallet and go on about your way, your superego is going to make you have a guilty conscience about it. It's going to make you feel bad about it. So, it's your moral compass. It makes you do what's right as opposed to doing what's wrong. Let's see, let me make sure I'm not leaving anything out. If your superego is too strong, you can feel guilty all the time, or you may even have an insufferably saintly personality. So the superego is always striving for perfection. So when we think about the id, the ego, and the superego, you have the id always thinking about self, pleasure principle, doesn't care about others. And then you have the superego, your moral compass, guilty conscience if you do something wrong. And then you have the ego right there in the middle, how we are most of the time. And it is always trying to resolve conflicts between the id and the superego. So if it is successful in resolving that conflict, then everything is fine. And if not, then we have some issues, and this is where the defense mechanisms come in to try to help us cope and resolve issues. Alright, so this is a short video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box. Please like, subscribe, and share with your colleagues and your friends. And if you'd like to have, if you'd like to give a testimonial, you can go on my website, daytodaysocialwork.wix.com/mysite. You can leave a testimonial there on the home page, or you can request a free consultation for tutoring, which is $35 an hour. Until next time, I will see you.